Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com.
We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking the chance. Safe to dance, oh it's safe to dance. Yes, it's safe to dance.
Hello and welcome to episode 223 of the Situational Awareness Matters show. I'm your host, Rich Gassaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision making for individuals and teams who work in high risk, high consequence, time compressed environments with changing conditions. The SAMatters mission is simple. We want to help you see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes. In today's feature segment, we're going to talk about how interruptions can impact situational awareness. One quick note, if you are new to the show, stick around after the featured segment to learn more about our mission, how you can attend or host a live event, or how to get connected with us on social media. Okay, let's jump into our feature discussion on the impact interruptions can have on situational awareness. Like many of you, I do my best work when I'm not interrupted. Whether it's someone trying to carry on a conversation with me, the phone ringing, a text message, or an interruption from social media, those interruptions distract my train of thought. And when the train of thought is disrupted, situational awareness can be adversely impacted. During my situational awareness program, I explain the role that your mental sketchpad plays in forming and maintaining your situational awareness. If you've not been to the program, let me provide you with a brief explanation. You use your 5 senses to gather information about what's happening around you. This information is sometimes referred to as clues and cues. Each piece of information gathered from each of your 5 senses serves as proverbial puzzle pieces that, when combined, form your situational awareness. It is on your mental sketchpad that the puzzle pieces all get put together. While this may sound like a simple process, there are many things that can go astray when it comes to capturing, piecing together, and understanding the meaning of the puzzle pieces. The sketchpad is also the location of your mental predictions of future events before they occur. Thus, the mental sketchpad is a very busy place with limited capacity. Think of it as limited space for the puzzle pieces. So when the brain is tasked with having to pick and choose what puzzle pieces or information it will allow on the sketchpad, it can be very challenging. When you have something on your mind, whatever that something is, that thought occupies space on your mental sketchpad. Stated another way, you're giving your conscious attention to whatever it is that's on your mind. What happens, though, when you shift your attention to something else? There's a couple possible outcomes. First, your current thought may go into a temporary memory buffer. Think of it as kind of like getting pushed off to the corner of your mental sketchpad. Or your current thought may be completely lost. Think of that as your thought being completely pushed off the sketchpad and thus forgotten. Unfortunately, you don't have much direct control over what information gets set aside and what information gets completely pushed off the sketchpad. And there are many factors that can influence what happens, including the presence of visual or audible clues that may remind you where you left off on a task. The stress associated with the former task may influence your ability to come back to the task. Your emotional attachment to the former task may influence your ability to render back to the task. And your familiarity with the former task, just to name a few. Likewise, the strength of the visual and audible clues, stress, emotions, and familiarity with the new task may impact your ability to shift your attention back to the previous task. In other words, if the new task is more stressful or more emotional than the previous task, you may not be able to shift your attention back to the previous task. Interruptions can be expected or unexpected. If expected, you may have time to prepare yourself for the event. In anticipation, you may make a note as to what you were working on or where you were at when the interruption occurred. And then when the interruption is done, you can quickly go back to the previous task. If unexpected, the clues and cues from the interruption can come flooding in on your mental sketchpad with reckless abandon, caring not at all what it trods over, what it pushes aside, or what it pushes off your sketchpad. If you're able to anticipate an interruption, it's much easier to control its potential situational awareness devastation by making a note of where your thoughts were and what you were doing at the moment the interruption occurred. You may also be able to control the interruption by consciously choosing not to allow your attention to be shifted from the current task at hand. For example, when your phone rings, you have a choice to make about whether to answer the phone or not. I'm continually amazed at how often I witness someone answering a phone while deep into doing some heavy mental lifting, only to tell the caller that it's not a good time to talk on the phone. Well, if it's not a good time to talk, the receiver of the call could have chosen to simply not answer the phone and let the call go to voicemail. This would allow the receiver of the call then to control the interruption by playing the message back and returning the call at a more convenient time. But alas, humans are social creatures, and there is a certain desire or expectation that we be polite and accommodating when approached by another person wanting our attention, be that in person or by a phone call. Depending on the task you're engaged in, stopping what you're doing to accommodate someone else may have little impact. However, if the task is critical or it is safety focused or safety dependent, the interruption could have a catastrophic impact. There are numerous documented examples of tragedies that have occurred because someone who was engaged in a critical task was interrupted. The shift in attention caused a higher priority task to be pushed aside or forgotten completely, and it can happen so easily. Most of us think that we're much better at managing our short-term memory buffer than what we really are. When you're under stress, the ability to manage the shifting of attention to multiple different tasks can be especially challenging. This is how some people who may believe they're pretty good at multitasking when they're not under stress will be equally good at multitasking when they are under stress, and this can get them jammed up pretty quickly. And the outcome can be rather predictable. A best practice for interruptions is to ensure you have a means by which to put a placeholder on where you leave off and to control what you choose to let hijack the control of your sketchpad. There's nothing wrong with telling a person who comes up to say something to you, can you hold that thought for just a moment while I finish what I'm doing? Or can you give me just a moment to write something down? Or can we schedule a time to talk about this later? Obviously, this method of buying yourself time isn't going to work in a dynamically changing environment full of stress and consequences, like an emergency scene. In this case, make a mental note or a written note of where you left off, or if possible, use the services of a second person to serve as a scribe, as your note taker, or to run interference, to handle radio traffic for you, or to answer the phone for you, or to talk face to face with someone who wants to come up and share information with you. That person can serve as a buffer and to keep that other individual from interrupting you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Pennington from Jump Seat Training. I'd like to congratulate my mentor, Dr. Richard Gassaway, on over 4 years of Situational Awareness Matters podcast. 4 years, 200 episodes. Firefighters, pick up your phone, download that podcast, and make sure you always remember SA Matters.
What about your episode, Ryan?
Oh, hey, and don't forget my favorite episode's number 73, where we talk about situational awareness inside hoarding conditions. So make sure you download number 73 first and go do the other 100 and some after that one.
Since 2007, SAMatters instructors have helped more than 1,200 organizations and 65,000 individuals improve high-risk decision-making, including first responders, industrial workers, military personnel, business leaders, medical professionals, utility workers, highway workers, aviation workers, oil refinery operators, and more. If you work in a high-risk, high-consequence decision-making environment, then I'm here to help improve your safety and your survival. I want to help you accomplish the most important mission of all, and that's to go home to the ones who love you.
Real expectations, because SA matters.
Know your limit. Know your partner's limit, because SA matters.
Assumptions are bad. SA matters.
Proper PPE is important, because SA matters.
Flawed situational awareness is a really big deal. SA matters.
Know your water supply, because SA matters.
Bears and Cougars. SA matters.
Go versus no-go, because SA matters.
Confidence is good. Overconfidence is bad. SA matters.
Buddies matter, because SA matters.
SA matters. So don't get angry.
When the pigs are eating lemons, SA matters.
Our academy class is going home today because we know that SA matters. SA matters!
I'd like to take a moment to honor and to thank those companies and organizations and agencies and departments that have hosted recent situational awareness training for their team members, including the iWomen's Conference in Tysons, Virginia, Fire Rescue Med in Henderson, Nevada, the Ohio Fire Chiefs Conference in Columbus, Ohio. If you're interested in knowing where upcoming situational awareness programs are going to be, on August 3 and 4, we're going to be in Evansville, Indiana. August 10, Fire Rescue International in Dallas, Texas. August 11 and 12, the Northwest Fire District in Houston, Texas. August 13 through 16, Missouri City Fire Department in Missouri City, Texas. August 17 and 18, Lig City Fire Department in Lig City, Texas. August 22 through 25, Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard, Honolulu, Hawaii. September 13th, Eagle Materials Corporation, Grapevine, Texas. September 17 and 18, Odessa Fire Department, Odessa, Texas. September 22nd, Columbia Shuswap Regional District, Alberta, Canada. And September 29, Badger Firefighters Association, West Bend, Wisconsin. To see the locations of all the upcoming Situational Awareness Matters programs, head over to the SAMatters website, click on the blue box on the right side of the homepage labeled Live Training Dates. If you're interested in hosting a Situational Awareness program, just go to the website and click the Contact Us tab on the top of the homepage, and I'll give you a call. If you want to become part of the SAMatters community of learners, there's a couple of ways you can do that. Check the show notes on how you can get connected through our newsletter membership, podcast subscribers, YouTube subscribers, and follow our social media on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. There we share ideas about how to improve situational awareness, how to make better decisions under stress, and how to improve critical thinking and resilient problem-solving skills. Well, that's it. Episode 223 is complete. Thank you to our awesome sponsor, Midwest Fire. Thank you to the companies, agencies, and organizations that have hosted Situational Awareness Matters training programs. Thank you to the organizations that have hosted the live, virtual, internet-based training events. Thank you to the more than 2,000 students and graduates of the highly acclaimed Situational Awareness Matters Online Academy. And most importantly, thank you, the listeners and viewers of this show, for sharing some of your valuable time with me. I really appreciate your support of the SAMatters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gassaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit SAMatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gassaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgassaway.com.